The Austro-Prussian War was one of the shortest but most decisive wars in European history. In just 7 weeks, it would change the political map of Central Europe and lay the groundwork for the destruction of two empires. So let's get started. When the Danish broke out in 1856, Austria saw an opportunity to stop the Prussians from dominating the Germans and gaining access to the sea. However, they were defeated at the Battle of Königgrätz and forced to sign the Peace of Vienna, which ceded Schleswig-Holstein to the Prussians. This humiliation left a bitter taste in the mouths of the Austrians, and the stage was set for the next conflict. On June 1866, they took their chance when they declared war on Prussia. To achieve victory, they needed to get past the Austrians' strong fortifications. So they did what they did best, using their superior railways to rapidly mobilize their troops, and then marched across the Elbe River into Bohemia. Their goal was simple: force the Prussians out of the German Confederation and reassert Austrian hegemony over the region. But despite being outgunned, the Austrians managed to hold out until nightfall. As the Prussians approached the village, they found it strongly fortified by the Austrians and their allies, who were eager to defend their homeland. Despite heavy casualties, the Prussians rallied and attacked again, this time successfully capturing the village. However, the fighting was far from over. After decades of rising nationalism and years of tension following the revolutions of 1848, the relationship between the German Confederation and the Habsburg Austrian Empire was broken beyond repair. The war had been a decisive victory for Prussia and a humiliating defeat for Austria. It had also been a costly one. It had paved the way for the unification of Germany in 1871 and had shifted the balance of power in Europe away from Austria and Russia and towards Prussia and France. And so the age of Austro-Prussian dominance in Central Europe had come to an end. With hundreds of thousands of casualties on both sides, men fought with swords and bayonets, while artillery fire rained down on both sides. The fighting was fierce, and neither side would budge. At its heart, the growing rivalry was between the two biggest German states, Prussia and Austria, who both claimed hegemony over the rest of the German states. But only one would come out on top. Seeing their chance, the Prussians rallied and attacked, driving the Austrians back and securing a decisive victory, and the subsequent victory over the Austrians at the Battle of Königgrätz, the Treaty of Villafranca. On August, the Treaty of Prague was signed, which excluded Austria from German politics and dissolved the German Confederation. In its place, the North German Confederation was created with Prussia at its head. This led to the outbreak of the Franco-Austrian War in 1856. While the French were no longer committed to fighting alongside the Austrians, other German states such as Bavaria and Saxony joined them, as well as the Dutch and Sardinians. In the early 1860s, Otto von Bismarck, the Prussian prime minister, began to formulate his plan to solve the German question by excluding Austria from German affairs and uniting all of the German states under Prussian leadership, and forcing them to sign the Peace of Vienna, which ceded Schleswig-Holstein to the Prussians. This humiliation left a bitter taste in the mouths of the Austrians, and the stage was set for the next conflict. When a series of national movements erupted in 1859, culminating in the annexation of Lombardy by the Kingdom of Sardinia, but it was Prussia who came out on top, defeating the Austrians at the Battle of Königgrätz. Prussia's victory in the Danish War and the humiliating defeat in the Battle of Königgrätz made her the target of the frustrated Austrians who wanted revenge. On the other side was Prussia, who had the support of the other small German states as well as the Kingdom of Italy. There they met up with the Austrians at the Battle of Königgrätz, where the Prussians used their new needle gun to devastating effect, mowing down the Austrians with ease. For the next few days, both sides raced to Königgrätz, now called Sadawa, where the decisive battle of the war would take place. On July, the Prussian army attacked, but was soon beaten back by the superior Austrian firepower. As the battle raged on, more and more troops were brought into the mix, and soon the battlefield became a scene of utter chaos. Then suddenly, in the midst of the chaos, a group of Austrian soldiers broke through the Prussian lines and fled. With the Austrian army routed, the war was effectively over. And so in just 7 weeks, the Austro-Prussian War had come to an end. But the war had also been a turning point in European history.